You know, my mother was thinking about 10 seconds, too. 10-second rule. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Now, when if I have to delete this, I won't have to get 10 seconds to delete this. Oh, holy fuck.
Just
3
before we
hours?
get into the hearing, I just want to reiterate our committee's policy on handling protests. We have no objection to audience members wearing T-shirts and hats expressing their views. But to maintain order in the hearing room, we request that audience members do not hold up or wave signs, make gestures to attract attention, stand up and protest, shout or yell your views, or otherwise disrupt the hearing. We will ask the police to remove anyone
Obama
who
White
violates
House
the policy
Archive.
and is the policy of the Capitol Police to arrest anyone ejected from a hearing.
Let's go.
It is a great pleasure to welcome
Hold this.
Secretary Clinton to the committee this morning for her first appearance before Congress as Secretary of State. We know you
I'm moving. I haven't seen this outfit. I don't recognize this outfit. So
very much
it is September 5th,
you're taking the time.
Friday, 2025.
Normally, the Secretary's first appearance before the committee will
Confirmed,
be to
right?
present the
It's confirmed?
administration's budget for the next fiscal year. But given the transition and the understandable delay in preparing the fiscal year 2010 budget, I've asked her to testify today on the administration's overall foreign policy agenda and to discuss the broad outlines of the budget request. Next week, or in a few weeks, the Deputy Secretary for
One time home.
Management Resources, Jack Lew, will appear before the committee to discuss the department's detailed budget proposal. I now yield myself 7 minutes for an opening
Okay.
statement.
Online town hall. I haven't seen this one yet. Okay. Mr. President, what time is it for
We're
you?
taking immediate steps
March
to address
26th?
the dangerous
Okay, 1 second.
capacity at the State
I mean,
Department
I've
and
just found
USAID.
president needs to hear this.
From
You
her
need to hear
first
this
days in
as well.
office, the Secretary has directed a comprehensive review of our chronically underfunded diplomacy and development capabilities. She then developed a plan to restore these critical components of our national security infrastructure. And
Indeed.
finally, she fought
The critical
for
opponent is a fucking time machine.
Function 150 budget request, providing adequate resources to implement that plan. Madam Secretary, I couldn't agree with you more that we desperately need to reinvigorate our civilian foreign affairs agencies.
This is an exciting moment for the administration.
Why is it? It's
Before they start, save us
President
This-
Obama is about to convene the first ever online town hall from the White House.
cool.
A few days ago, the president invited Americans to cross
And none of you have security clearances. This is why Andrew's.
many of my colleagues on the committee are
You ever have a skiff and this thing comes with a secure?
and vote for the ones they most likely to vote.
Yeah, this is my
Open up the White House to the American people
Indeed.
to give you direct
Front
power
line.
to the administration.
very soon.
Putin's
3 days, over 92,000 people submitted over
Part 2.
100,000 questions and
Putin's
over
way
3.5
3 years ago.
And there is no pre-screening moderation of these questions. The question is
To
published
ensure that the
as
most
soon as
urgent
it
needs.
is
Putin's Revenge Part 2.
I want to make sure my colleagues have plenty of time.
Are you ready?
Today, the president
So I'm not going to run into.
This is probably gonna kick. Hold on.
It's much more very simple. Working behind closed doors. All of us felt very strongly that we had to tell the American people what we knew.
Okay.
Amid new revelations about Russia and the election,
There we go.
Conspiracy against the United
the
States.
conclusion of Putin's revenge.
Because I'm going off of C-SPAN, you know, and with Secretary Clinton's hearing this
The
too.
cyber attack began with an email. Hi, John. Someone just used your password to try to sign into your Google account.
John Podesta, in his role as chairman of the Republicans campaign, gets a lot of emails. So he has other people who are, checking out his emails. It comes in.
Google stopped this sign-in attempt. You should change your password immediately.
That's
But this
shit.
was not from Google. It had been sent by Russian hackers. A computer phishing attack.
Phishing attack.
Spearfishes are a term of art in
inside the world of the web.
Emails that are
Spear phishing.
Legitimate.
What's
Someone's
it?
tried to use your password to get into your account. Please click on this link and change your password immediately.
Oh, don't do that. I mean, that's from Edward Snowden. John Podesta, Secretary Clinton's campaign manager. One of his staff apparently clicked on a phishing email.
This is a legitimate email. John needs to change the password.
No, he doesn't.
Illegitimate, or so he says to us. So, but for a two-letter
How about let me? I'm gonna keep watching, listen to this.
may not have been spread to the world.
This is a frontline document, Putin's revenge. The
60,000 emails from Podesta's account were a political gold mine. Part of a campaign aimed at
This
disrupting
documentary
the
is February 8, 2019.
linked to Vladimir Putin.
If it were possible,
It's on YouTube on February 8, 2019. The documentary is from Putin. So
of a major.
this is as your campaign manager's email gets hacked by the Russians. Secretary
I
Clinton.
think that was certainly solved
Sorry,
the propaganda goals of Vladimir Putin.
not President Trump's fault. You know.
It would be Vladimir Putin's revenge for a lifetime of grievances.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down
Yeah.
this wall.
Reviving the old Cold War with new weapons.
We have a responsibility to advance freedom
Yeah.
and democracy.
An epic struggle.
Everywhere that freedom stirs, let tyrants fear.
Became the
Indeed.
leader of Russia.
Well, Andrew still has his superpowers everywhere.
Continue to stand up for democracy.
That's you, President Trump. It's September 5th, 2025, Friday, 4:34 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 4:34 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 5th day of September, New Year 2025.
In the winter of 2014, Russian President Vladimir Putin put on a show.
For Putin, the posting
Sochi's.
is the crescendo of his campaign to
Sochi's
revive
win.
Russian ratings. This
Shit.
the kind
Sochi's.
of pageantry which Putin and Russians in general loved. He was riding very high. This was, a moment of personal and national triumph from his point of view.
The games
I
were
remember,
nice, but the world
Elena-
never paid
Elena
attention to
Rada.
Russia and Vladimir Putin.
Shit. Somebody stabbed Elena's friend by recently at Burning Man. Yeah. Elena's Rada Rusta's
Sochi was a huge
supermodel,
moment
Russian
for Vladimir
supermodel's friend,
Putin,
got stabbed to
and it was
death
meant to be
at Burning
this
Man.
validation and crowning moment of acceptance on the world stage as, sort of the new Russian czar.
But Putin's moment of glory was tarnished
Secretary
by
Clinton is
troubles
having
just over Russia's
this
border.
April
In
22nd,
Ukraine.
2020, 2009, no, send me, sorry.
The crowds
9:44 a.m. Eastern Time, and then with Representative Howard Berman, who is no longer in Congress, I think.
toward the west.
He's no longer in Congress. Anyway, you're having the time of your life, I guess. You both have the time to retire.
That was a real conspiracy to reign his parade. That
Oh my, she is still in Congress.
name is one
You are still in Congress, whoever your name is.
still his.
Robert, you are still in Congress. I didn't. I've never really knew your name.
Putin
You're still
suspected
in
the
Congress.
involvement of Russia's longtime adversary, the United States.
Yeah.
Putin himself
Russian casualties.
believes that it was the United States. He honestly doesn't believe
Ukraine
that people can get
so far.
out on the streets just because they.
This guy wanted to protest. Shocking
It was
dude.
a view widely held in Putin's circle.
Mr. Obama and others, they decided that America
We see
can do
BBC News would be.
to spread democracy. How many diplomats from the United States
County
were at
Griffin.
the time in Cuba?
Huh? Oh, okay.
Diplomats
I need to go.
warned
One second, I gotta go.
protesters.
One second, I gotta go. My mother go shopping.
The Maidan, Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland was one of them.
Ukrainians hit the street all over the country, including Kyiv, and that's how Maidan starts, because they want Europe, and they don't want further dependency
It
on
would be
Russia.
Vladimir Putin's revenge
So you
for a
have
lifetime of
Vladimir going
grievances.
out and handing out sandwiches in Maidan, a gesture of the with the
Reviving
fight for
the old
democracy, which is
Cold War
not different
with
from
new weapons.
being
stands traditionally all over the world.
To Putin, epic Stramilion's presence was proof the Americans were pulling the strings.
Putin is very, very good at weaving a narrative that suits his larger political purpose. It was very useful for him to make me and us the poster child for interference in other countries' affairs.
In the winter of 2014, Russian President Vladimir Putin put on a show.
Oh, there we go.
On the Maidan,
There you
a
go.
gesture
Hold on a
of
second.
we're with you in your fight for democracy, which is not different.
One second.
And they don't want for
Involvement of Russia's
Sorry, I had to. My mother thinks that people break into our apartment whenever I don't block a thing with a bell. And long story. Because somebody apparently broke into our apartment and messed around. You know how the Russians like to break into people's apartments and then rearrange it? The Russians like to do that thing just to make you think that you can. And somebody actually broke into my mother's apartment. And one of the things is black people. I'm kind of hoping it's not, you know. But President Obama, Andrew is not aware of when the Russians found out by my identity. They could have. I mean, Andrew doesn't know when they knew about me and started messing with my life. So somebody definitely broke into our apartment, started rearranging things inside the apartment, and my mother got so neurotic about it. And,
Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland was one of them.
Ukrainians hit the street all over the country,
Sure, Victoria. Anyway, sorry.
and that's how Maidan starts, because they want Europe, and they don't want further dependency on Russia.
So you have
did the
Victoria
Maidan-
Nuland going out and handing out sandwiches on the Maidan, a gesture of we're with you in your fight for democracy, which is not different from the American stance traditionally.
November
all over the
2013
world.
to February 22nd, 2022. That is the problem.
The Americans were pulling the strings.
Putin is very, very good at weaving a narrative that suits his larger political purpose. It was very useful for him to make me and us the poster
January
child for
2013.
interference in another country's affairs.
This is your second term, by the
His
way.
belief
2013 is your
that
second
Americans were
term, President
interfering in
Obama.
Russia's sphere of influence was not
The
new.
Time War is
He had spent a lifetime
is raging
wary
right
of the
now
United
at
States.
that time on Tumblr.
As a young
The
KGB
race to capture the
officer,
time
he was
machine, the
trained
man that's
to spot
telepathic and
American
you voice is
conspiracies.
hearing. Black lady behind you is totally hearing you.
Mr. Gorbachev,
September 5th, 2025. You know I'm in the future and you understand that we're fighting and you understand.
The Soviet Empire.
This is a time war. The Russian Federation, the United States of America is not officially at war. We are not at war officially. But the Russians started fighting a time war with us in your time already. I mean, President Obama, you should consider the possibility that we are at war with Russia right now.
First as Prime Minister,
The war
and then as
is over
President,
one
he
woman,
came to see
Alexis
America as a growing threat.
and me.
Vladimir Putin concluded that the United States,
I
when
might have
possible,
mentioned-
will use its power and leverage to depose leaders
You might have heard it. President Putin went.
dictator of Iraq.
Putin had watched American regime change overthrow Saddam
That's the
Hussein,
problem.
and he believed they had engineered revolutions in former Soviet republics.
We'll stand with you.
In the
Oh,
Arab
because we
Spring,
do.
he watched his
We want
ally,
democracy.
Libyan
America.
dictator Muammar Gaddafi dragged through
Muammar
the streets.
Gaddafi is.
Putin watches that tape over and over and over again. It's all he can talk about for
Yes.
quite some time.
Yes.
Playing a
That's
role in
Gaddafi's
Gaddafi's downfall.
dead body right there.
The American Secretary of
Gaddafi.
State.
You know the guy that showed. Oh, by the way, President Obama, I totally.
And the Libyan people deserve.
Yeah, I totally got Tunisia and Tripoli got mixed up. I mean, you need to tell the secretary. Tripoli is the capital of Libya, and Tunisia is a completely different country. Tunis,
Putin
Tunisia
believed
is.
America had crossed the
know.
line, and he
I
blamed Hillary Clinton.
The
Oh,
Russian
damn.
people deserve the right to have their voices heard and their votes counted.
Oh man.
Putin said it was Secretary
I'm so
of State
sorry, I
Hillary
mean-
Clinton who provided
Here's the problem, President
funds and
Obama.
means
I was a Hillary
to the
Clinton
Russian
supporter
opposition
until
and made
Alexis'
them to get
boyfriend,
out of this
the
industry.
Russian spy,
No question he's looking at revenge at Hillary Clinton. There's no question.
Future Russian spy boyfriend. Future. Past is most likely used to an idiot.
He wanted to get her
It doesn't
back.
seem like he's Russian.
Putin
Jay
would
Alvarez
wait for
doesn't
the
seem like
right
he's Russian,
moment to strike back at Clinton and the United States.
It's a Hawaiian guy. Last name is Spanish, so it
2
doesn't
years
seem like a
later,
Russian guy. But
he would test a new strategy during those protests in Ukraine that had overshadowed his Olympics. The first target, Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland.
this is a fake
It
call.
began with an intercept of a phone call.
This phone, Victoria,
As
this
Nuland
phone's been
discussed the
incentive by the
future of
Russians.
Ukraine, she uttered a profanity about the European Union.
I told you it was intercepted.
So that would be great, I think.
I
Glue this thing and have the US help do it. And, you know, the EU.
God damn it.
The EU. In der Welt der Diplomatie ist diese Wortwahl
Fallout from a top
God damn
American
it.
diplomat's very undiplomatic expletive hurled at the European Union.
The leak was designed to reveal America's role in Ukraine and sow division between Nuland and the EU.
The Russians are tapping Victoria Nuland's phone call, so
discredit me personally as the main negotiator at that time to thereby reduce U.S. influence.
Not a word you would use typically to talk about an ally.
Oh, this is a major
I need
This is
to.
the top U.S. diplomat for Europe.
Intercepting diplomatic communications was nothing new,
Yeah.
Russians are at the very least denying they posted the call.
but leaking them online was.
I was just monitoring the internet.
But it wasn't a five-alarm fire. And in retrospect, some people think we should have taken this a lot more seriously than we did.
Yes, President
Because it was the
Obama.
first demonstration that Russia was willing and able to use
Russia, I
techniques
mean,
against
President
the United
Obama, I
States
know you're at the
that it had
beginning of your
previously not
presidency, you think, oh, Russia's great, right? We should consider basically Russia and the United States
Of course,
are
they're
at war,
listening
right?
to
We should
everything.
consider
But usually
basically
they're just
Russia and the United
collecting
States
it for
are at
themselves.
war,
This is the first
essentially
time
at war.
they've gone out
We are
and
at war with
weaponized
Russia.
that information against the U.S.
Not officially
But this
shooting
was
war,
only
but
the beginning.
Putin thinks we
Another
are at
tactic.
war. I mean, we are at war
In
with
the
Russia,
Ukrainian
essentially.
territory of Crimea,
Not yet
Putin
physically.
used
We haven't declared war with
disinformation,
Russia, but
outright
ladies and
lies as a
gentlemen of
weapon.
Congress and Secretary Clinton and
They
President Obama,
moved
the
in
United
with
States of
what the
America
Ukrainians
is.
called Little Green
Sorry.
Men. And they were clearly, by the way they handled themselves in the weapons, professional military. We're in Russian-style
Russians.
combat uniforms. But
In the year
really similar.
2014, Russia sends regular Russian soldiers and disguise
Putin
them
knew
as
an
Little Green
invasion of
Men.
Ukraine would be a clear violation of international law, and inevitably provoke
He
an
doesn't care
American
anymore.
response.
In the year 2005, Russia
So the
does not
troops were
care. It's a
disguised,
full-on war
and he denied they
between
were his.
Ukraine and Russia in 2025.
Tactically
Russia does not give a rat's
impressive
ass.
move that he was able to
In the year 2005,
basically
Russia does not
invade
give a
a
rat's
huge
full-on
chunk of the neighboring
explosion.
country
In 2014, he's still disguising
and
it.
do it in a way that
No,
made it difficult to figure out exactly
I mean,
what was
it's a
going
war
on
crime
and the
basically.
content
No,
was too late.
no insignia, no
Russia seized
markings on their
Crimea
soldiers.
without firing a shot.
Yeah.
Putin had successfully used disinformation and weaponized leaks. He was also testing something else: Russia's cyber capabilities.
And Russia's temporal warfare technologies are absolutely supreme. They have Russia has successfully captured Alexis and altered the timelines. So Alexis may not be my future wife anymore, and the consequences are severe for human civilization.
Ukraine, more than any other country, is the
Because
country
changing the future changes the past. I mean, it's a very concept that I need to teach both of you. If you alter the future, you alter the entirety of human civilization because Andrew's a telepathic time machine.
2015.
My life is a set, should be set.
The Russians figured
Andrew's
out
life should be
just
set,
how far
including
they
my
could go
wife,
without provoking
my
a
children,
reaction from
my telepathic children that are
As the
American.
cyber attacks
You
and
know, and the
disinformation
Russians
ramped
successfully
up,
altered
Russia
time.
began operating
Somehow.
on the new front in eastern Ukraine.
This is the timeline that the Russians have generated.
The use of
2025.
paramilitary forces, the use of cyber warfare, the use of conventional military,
Temporal
all
warfare,
and
time war.
disinformation amounted to an entirely
Congress
new
America
form of warfare.
is in a time war
what
with
became
Russia.
known as hybrid
So
warfare.
And one of the things they did was
The American government
the Russians
was struggling
successfully
to devise
framed a
response
black
to
man
Putin's
to be
actions.
the Antichrist in the year
How do you
2024.
deter behavior?
They it's
when
a
the
Russian
other side
spy
is
that's the
basically
actual
denying
Antichrist,
that
and they
it's
framed
taking
a
place?
black man to be
When the
the
other side is
Antichrist.
saying,
And
I
Andrew
don't know
didn't
what you're
know,
talking about. We're
and it
not
sows
involved.
discord between black America and the regular America, basically. And there's supposed to be a black woman become president in 2024. President Trump is going to win the election because of it. And it's not President Trump's fault.
Denied their presence. And it was striking.
It's not President Trump's fault.
About Russia's
So there should have been a black woman in president in
And the Bible would say to
2024.
him,
It doesn't
"Why
happen,
don't
so
We're not blind. We have eyes.
there's not going to be a
We can
black
see."
woman president.
And Putin would just move on.
Unfortunately,
As if nothing had happened.
so damn close. It's
At the Pentagon, some believe
It sows
Putin
discord
only
in
understood
America,
one
so-
thing.
I mean, you have a black man
Military
president.
force.
There was a black
The
woman
most
president
important
in
thing that we could do was to
2024.
deter Russia.
And
And the
it
best
failed.
way to do that, we thought in my office, was to make the Russians afraid that they would have to pay a higher price for their military intervention.
Yeah.
The higher price would be a price in Russian lives. That if you had anti-tank weapons, the Russian tanks...
It's 1 million casualties, 250,000 dead
Russian soldiers would
so
die.
far. And
The
they
CIA
paid it
director
anyway.
agreed that
Secretary
tough
Clinton,
action was
President
needed.
Obama,
And we're beyond the school.
the Russians have paid 250,000 lives, quarter of a million lives dead. And that's what I wanted to. And they are willing to pay from British Isthmus another 2 million casualties and another 500,000 dead people to take the whole of Donbass. And they do not have the full Donbass. I'm sorry that it's not going to be a black
But the
woman
president
president.
was reluctant to be drawn into a conflict with Russia. He would not
Indeed.
approve providing weapons to the Ukrainians.
President Obama, what the fuck?
Imposing sanctions.
President
and they
Obama,
began to
what the
penalize
hell?
Russian businesses and Russian individuals that they blamed for being closed.
Jobless.
Putin
You know,
worried sanctions would not
you know,
stop
President
him.
Trump keeps saying Obama gave Ukraine sheets, and then President Trump gave him javelins. Apparently, you gave the Ukrainians bed sheets, like for bed sheets, literal bed sheets, like you know the stuff they put on your mattress. You gave them that. And not javelins for some reason. He keeps saying that, and I was like, I couldn't understand what the fuck is a sheet.
Soon,
No, he meant the
Putin would
real
go
bed
further
sheets. Bed sheets. And
and
apparently,
directly
the
take
United
on
States
the
of America
United
sent them
States.
bed sheets.
It's a revenge and
Were
it's an
you a
equalizer.
president in
It
Ukraine?
was retribution.
Not
If
javelins.
you interfere in our politics, we're going to show that American democracy
Would you?
is not so solid.
He won the election
that
because of that
American
line. That's one of the
exceptionalism
lines he
is not,
gives in one election.
so pristine.
President Trump kept
And,
saying
you
Obama
too,
gave him sheets
can
and
be
Trump gave him
vulnerable
javelins.
to
So anyway,
interference and chaos and
Anyways, sorry.
embarrassing your political processes.
anyway, shit.
The chance to strike
You
at
have
American democracy
3 hours and
came just
49
a few
minutes,
months
Secretary
later,
Clinton. I will try to brief you as much as I can on every single documentary I can
as the country
find,
prepared for
along
the
together with
2016
President Obama.
presidential
Because
election.
President Obama has town halls, but these people in these town halls do not have security clearance, and at least one black lady is nodding. She's hearing
and
me.
generating attention.
My understanding is everybody in this room hears me from the future.
When Vladimir Putin
It's
looked
September
over
5th,
the
2025, and anybody
election,
leaks
he
this
saw
to
one
the Russians.
candidate who
That
was
nice black
voicing
lady that was
positions
named,
that
I'll
were
probably
very
never know.
consistent with what
You're hearing me, and I can tell you're hearing me. You know that I'm in the future right now.
For years, Trump
Yeah, you
had
just
been
looked up
outspoken in
to
his
something,
praise
you know.
for Putin.
We have a problem. Nice black lady.
Oh,
Yeah, the president was always nice.
He was personally invested in the idea of Putin as a
Bruno
friend.
is,
He said maybe he'll be my BFF. Maybe
I did the
and
same thing,
praising
Secretary
him to the
Clinton.
point
I tried to be
where he
Putin's friend at
defend
the
Putin
start
against
of
anybody that said
2020,
negative
end
things
of
about him.
2024, start of 2025.
leadership, he's getting an A, and President is not.
It appeared that Donald Trump was the kind of candidate Vladimir Putin could like.
President Putin's view
I tried the
of
exact
Trump
same thing,
was a
Secretary
penchant for
Clinton.
authoritarianism, backing
Because,
of human rights, and talking
Because
about
President
wanting
Trump
to have
and
a
I and
more
President, I think
positive
President Obama
relationship
knows the
with
same
Russia.
thing.
What's not to like if you're Vladimir?
We're going to be in a
It
shooting war with the
sounds
Russians
like
probably.
it.
And,
He's one of us.
As Trump closed in on the nomination,
thank you for the
he
F-22s,
assembled a team with connections to
185.
If you're Putin, you see
Functional.
Trump
187 total,
reaching
apparently.
out
I mean,
to
we'll
a
have- I don't know.
series of political
They're
advisors who have
142
similar
functional.
sympathies
Ready for
and who
143.
links
43.
to Russia.
If I remember correctly.
You see the
143
campaign
functional
manager, Paul
for.
Manafort, who worked for pro-Russia
ChatGPT.
Ukrainian parties, and then this
How many
relatively
after-
obscure national security advisor named Carter Page
Are ready for war.
who's much more amenable to Moscow than some of the
Yeah,
hawks.
America.
You add into that Michael Flynn,
We
the
have,
national
I think-
security advisor, who Putin had dinner with in Moscow. Just
It's
all of
185,
those links
140. Yep,
from
I
Moscow's
remember correctly.
perspective,
They are 143 combat ready
wow,
F-22s,
this is someone
42
at the very
training
least
and
we can do
repair
business with.
or maintenance or training.
Vladimir
42
Putin
in
had
training and
another special
maintenance.
reason to be
142
interested in the
F-22s
election.
ready for combat. You know,
Hillary Clinton.
We've had some very tough dealings with one another. And
Senator Clinton, it's September 5th,
continually
2025.
stand up
I
to
know.
because, like many
Yeah, I know.
bullies,
I
he is
know. I'm
somebody
so
who
sorry.
will take as much as he possibly can unless you do.
Yeah. That's you in the future, Hillary,
Crossed the line
when
and
you
interfered in Russian
You're gonna-
politics during those anti-Putin protests.
it's still the same, I think. I mean, 10,000, then 22,000, and then 46,000 or
All
something.
the
Then
time there's this
3 swing
probing
states,
that's going on,
and you lost
poking
by
around
basically
in
70,000,
sensitive
75,000
systems.
votes.
Russian hackers had already
75,000
breached
votes
American
because
government
of
computer
Andrew.
networks.
Past
The
that.
State Department had been
And during the
penetrated,
past,
the White
yeah.
House had been penetrated, the Pentagon had been penetrated.
Now a new target. The computer
Every
network inside the Democratic National Committee.
Yeah.
They were almost the
Every
perfect target.
single
They
network
didn't
in the
have
United
full
States has
protections of a
been
government agency,
penetrated by
but
the
they
Russians,
had
basically.
much
so-
more valuable information than an
Yeah.
ordinary.
Cybersecurity is a national priority for
The
you,
attack
President
inside the
Obama.
DNC network wasn't secret for long.
The Russians are pretty good at
first
hacking.
intrusion into the DNC, these were initially detected
As
by
far
the
as I
DNC,
know,
which shares the information with
classified
the
networks
FBI.
were not
And
penetrated, you know?
those intrusions, first intrusions
just the public websites that
2015
we
were by the group known as
Cozy Bear.
APT-29
No, Cozy Bear.
or Cozy Bear.
APT-29 was already known to American investigators. Cozy Bear were Russian hackers.
There was a pattern in terms of the tools used, in terms of the nature of the probing that they saw,
that's
that led to,
oh,
they pointed back to Russia pretty
execution
early
general.
on.
But inside FBI headquarters, the reaction was surprisingly low-key. A special agent simply called the IT department at the DNC.
You had 9 months during which an FBI special agent was trying to communicate with a young IT professional at the Democratic National Committee who didn't even believe that the guy on the other end of the phone was an FBI special agent.
The help
the
desk
fuck?
didn't know what to make of it. They didn't know if it was.
I remember this part in the
They didn't know if
news.
This person was who he said he was, and frankly, they were utterly ill-equipped to deal with it.
The Democratic National Committee's cybersecurity in 2016 is
Up the
inadequate.
street to DNC headquarters.
Because it is the year
I did that once as we were
2009
writing
for
a
U.
reconstruction
Secretary
of,
Clinton and President Obama.
It's about a
Cybersecurity
12-minute walk if you
in
stop at Starbucks and pick something up.
7 years of your time is. I don't know how to describe technology levels in the future. It is the year 2025. We have artificial intelligence in
And
the
so for
future.
months,
Not
the hackers were
Skynet,
inside
not Terminator
the
movies
DNC,
yet, but
working away,
technology in the
burrowing
future is
collecting
a
information,
little bit different.
transporting it overseas.
Am I recording
They
this?
waited.
I am recording.
Just the
Oh
right
shit!
moment.
I'm gonna run out of battery.
The Democratic National Convention is getting ready to kick off.
And in the summer of 2016,
Yeah, it's still recording. It's still recording.
gathered to unify
This is still getting
the party
recorded, by the
around
way.
Hillary Clinton. Those DNC emails had been passed to the website
Well,
WikiLeaks.
I'm not looking at the frontline
No, they were
interviews. Maybe it will get flagged
released.
for
Would sow chaos
copyright.
among the
White House
Democrats.
is totally copyright free, right? C-SPAN sort of
Wait
copyright.
until 2 days before
And
the
I mean, a nice
Democratic
lady with a
Convention begins,
your chin
and then
rising,
lay
and
out
then you're angry
emails
about
that
it. I
was
think.
documentary proof that
Is it
sows
the
some
pause? I mean,
chaos
she's just
into
holding
the
her hand.
Democrats just as they're getting ready to meet.
The emails suggested
I
the
can't tell.
DNC had worked to undermine Clinton's rival,
It might be
Bernie
free.
Sanders.
Show revelations about how the Democratic National Committee does business.
The release triggered just the kind of disruption Putin wanted.
There were real cracks in the Democratic Party because of Russia hacking. You saw Democrats warring with each other, or Senator Sanders supporters railing against the Clinton supporters on the convention floor, the swelling protests. It was chaos
That is actually one of the reasons Senator Clinton, Bernie Sanders is probably more responsible for.
One of the most dramatic moments at the convention, which was helped along by the WikiLeaks disclosures, was Sanders' people getting up and walking out of the convention.
That's what happened with the election.
The effectiveness of this interference from Russia depends on a couple of things. Right?
Bernie Sanders
depends on the polarization of politics in America.
I would say Bernie Sanders is more responsible for
Russia
Hillary
was
Clinton not
pushing
being
out
president
material
than
that
Trump.
exploited those
Than President
that
Trump.
broadened them, that called attention
And
to
besides
those
Andrew, I mean,
But he loves the idea that
everything
one
is
just say
sort of
that every politician is corrupt. Any election is rigged. We're all the same. We're all dirty bastards. That cynical approach. That is
yeah,
actually
Senator Clinton. I would say Bernie Sanders probably more. Andrew. If you have me on your side, Hillary.
As the DNC emails made news, Donald Trump was quick to seize the story.
President Trump. It's
sort
September
of fresh
5th.
inside material from the other side that he had to draw on. I mean, for Donald
President Trump. This is
sort of
in a
godsend.
documentary.
I'm not going to tell Putin what to do. Why should I tell Putin?
This is September 5th, 2025. This is in a
The
documentary.
source of the leaks. He exploited the content of the emails.
It's not even about Russia or China or whoever it is that's doing the hacking.
It is Russia.
It was about the things that were said in those emails. They were terrible things.
Trump's willingness to exploit the situation, to use all these emails, really compound the impact. I mean, Russia couldn't have
Why didn't
envisioned
you?
that it would have a candidate willing to.
If Edward Snowden would have been
That is
happened,
a
they should have
huge
used
factor.
Signal.
Still, Trump couldn't avoid questions about Putin and the Russian hacking.
This is a documentary, Mr. President. September 5th, 2025 for Andrew.
He doesn't see this as a fundamental attack by an adversary. He sees this as just, part of the circus, of American democracy. His response is to invite them to do it more. He says, hey, Russia, if you're listening, maybe you'll find those missing Hillary Clinton emails.
But it would be interesting
don't
to
say
see.
that.
I will tell you this.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say
If
it.
you're
Don't say it.
listening,
Oh, you said
I
it.
hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails.
You said it. I know you
that
said
are
it.
missing.
That's a famous line.
And we sat there with our jaws open. We couldn't believe that a presidential candidate was encouraging a foreign
That's still pretty funny, but
adversary.
I mean,
in an election.
it's been like what? That was still pretty funny, Mr. President. Now you just said it's famous, so.
At the Central
That's
Intelligence
still pretty funny.
Agency, there was
President Trump
growing
asked the Russians to help
concern about
hack
the
it.
implications
Like in public,
It
and
was
it's like,
quite clear
whoops.
to me that we were
It's
seeing
pretty
a
funny,
campaign
I mean.
on the Russians. That it was a much more aggressive,
We have a big
much
ass
more
problem.
intense, and
The
much
Russian
more
president. Anyway, President Trump is still angry at you,
effort.
The intelligence community's analysis had already linked the DNC intrusion
Seriously,
to Russian hackers.
It's 1 million casualties, Russian got 250,000 dead Russian soldiers.
But now at CIA
Best estimates from
they said they had
intelligence
something
community
more.
investigators.
Direct evidence that Vladimir Putin himself was personally involved.
To get the intelligence that corroborates that was the coup for the CIA.
The agency has obtained intelligence that shows that Putin is behind this operation. Putin is setting its goals.
Yep.
Putin is not only aware of this, but
Putin
aware
started
that
the
they're
time
planning to weaponize this information.
He rarely communicates by phone or email or anything electronic. So for them to get this kind of intelligence was pretty significant.
Oh, shit.
Exactly what the CIA found is classified, but to Brennan, it was a game changer.
Well, I mean, it could just be me. Could be Andrew.
To all of us.
Andrew's
to
not really a
essence, we
CIA.
didn't know
CIA
the extent of what it is that the Russians were engaged in, and we didn't know how far they would go to really.
Human intelligence, Andrew's human, so it counts as CIA intelligence, right?
The information was dispatched from CIA headquarters to the offices of the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper.
Here's the thing, right?
Reacted visibly.
Andrew counts as
The
human
magnitude of what they
intelligence,
were doing,
telepathic
and
human
that it
intelligence
was,
in the
fact,
future.
orchestrated at the highest levels of
I
the
hope
Russian government.
you invited patriotic Americans to tell
I've seen a lot
President
of bad
Obama.
stuff from my 50 plus years in intelligence. That really shook me.
September.
With Clapper on board, Brennan delivered the details to the president in person.
Obama's
that's the problem,
senior-most officials have told us that he was taken aback by this, that the president was alarmed as well.
But it's not.
At the White
The Russians are not
House,
helping.
some wanted the president to sound the alarm to
President
the
Trump.
American
I mean,
people.
There's a big debate inside the Obama administration. What kind of action should they take? How public should they be about?
Because there's another thing about that something.
Veteran Putin watchers worried that if the president didn't respond forcefully, the attacks would continue.
As we are watching,
It already did. It's too late.
Seen this movie.
The time war has started. The temporal battles have been happening.
Estonia or Ukraine. It seems absolutely familiar.
Putin is launching temporal weapons against the United States. Basically, it's like time torpedoes, you know.
Attributing it to the Russians is really
It's like you change Andrew the time machine, you change American history. If Andrew hates black people, the civil rights movement never happened, Barack Obama poof disappears. Did I ever mention what happened in 2020?
And then he had all kinds of non-cyber tools saying
Three, I guess.
things
I
like
mean, sometime in the future, there's going to be a place called the Academy Museum built in next to Lockwood.
How are you going to?
It's a movie museum, and they're going to have an exhibit about black filmmakers. And black filmmakers going back to 1910.
preferred to stay out of it.
And do you know what Andrew goes? Andrew goes to the black film exhibit and tells all the black people, you don't get a black president. And I spelled President Obama's name
Call into question the
and
election.
to all those black people in the past.
On Putin's part as well, because
If that never
President
happens, President Obama does not exist.
conceivably could have been accused
Never
of
born.
doing the very thing that
President
Putin
Obama, you
himself
would never be born.
was doing, and therefore
And if you're never
contributing to the
born,
discredit.
who the fuck is talking to all you people? I mean, you know, see that black woman smiling. If you're never born, President Obama, who the fuck are you talking to? We might have a small issue, right?
It would look like they're really putting their thumbs on the scale.
Small issue, right?
This
If
is a kind of a
President-
classic case of the
Hi, Julie.
Obama administration.
Small issue.
overthinking
Seriously, if President
something
Obama's there,
while
who the fuck is
Russians
talking to
were
y'all people right now?
punching
We have a
above
small
that.
issue because
Before
it is
the
actually
attack,
possible to
the
do.
president wanted congressional
What I'm
Republicans
telling
to
you
join
is
him in
it is
calling out
absolutely
Putin
possible to
and
erase
Russian
Barack
interference.
Obama from
Obama
existence.
administration.
Back to the
so
future is
concerned
totally real.
about being
Let's
accused
make
of
sure that shit does
politicizing
not happen.
intelligence during the
Because
election.
it would be pretty
They're really
awkward if this
reluctant
guy's talking to you doesn't exist
President
anymore.
himself to go out
I
on a
mean,
limb and say, look,
yeah.
Russia's doing this.
Russia's
messing
launching
around
temporal
in our
weapons in
election.
America.
They really wanted
Literally time
this
torpedoes.
to be a bipartisan statement.
Pronoton torpedoes
of
like in
condemnation of Moscow's
Voyager.
interference.
Top
Yeah,
intelligence
launching
officials
time
traveled
weapons
to
in
Capitol
America.
Hill
It's like,
to tell congressional leaders what
seriously,
they knew.
we are in some deep shit.
They were all there.
So for good news is
Leader
I seem
Pelosi,
to have the ability to not marry Alexis and still remember that I'm a
Foreign
superhero.
Affairs Committees,
And,
the Intel
I'm gonna have
committees,
to
they were all
make
there.
up to black
And
for Operation Black
we briefed
Black
them
Antichrist in
on what we
2024.
knew.
My bad.
Senate
Andrew's bad.
Republican leader Mitch McConnell
Andrew's bad for
expressed
Operation Black
skepticism about the
Antichrist in
intelligence
2024.
and
The most
warned that he would
successful
not join an effort to
most
publicly
successful
challenge
operation against
They're
black
told by Mitch
women
McConnell,
that the
the
Russian
majority
Federation
leader
has
of
ever
the Senate,
done. There was
If you
supposed to
do
be a
that,
black
we're
woman
going
be
to
president in
interpret
the year
that as
2024.
you
There
putting
won't
the thumb
be.
on the scales for Hillary.
President Trump's going to win
The
re-election in
meetings were
2024.
top secret, held behind
By quite a lot,
closed
by the way.
doors.
2 million votes.
In those briefings of Congress, some
All the swing
individuals
states.
expressed concern that this was motivated by
It's a
partisan
landslide. It's a
interests of the
mandate.
administration.
President Trump gets a mandate in the
They
second
took
term.
offense
It's,
to that and told them
President Trump's going to get a mandate
is an
in
intelligence
2024.
assessment.
He has 2 million
matter.
extra votes than Kamala
It's a
Harris.
moment when politics and
Yeah,
policy
Kamala Harris, who
positioning
is you probably don't even know who
appears
she
to
is,
take
right?
precedence
Kamala who?
over national security.
Right?
In other words,
Kamala
they're
who?
so worried about each other.
Attorney General of
Democrats and
California
Republicans
and,
as adversaries.
A woman that
They
could have been
can't get around
president.
the
Black
idea
woman
that
could
there
have
is
been
a bigger
president. She
picture.
came pretty damn close. It's pretty damn close.
In Moscow, President
Unfortunately, the
Vladimir
Russians
Putin
won. So.
denied being at the center of the hacking, but he seemed pleased to
The
be
United
the
States of
center of
America is
attention.
not prepared to fight this
Everybody's
time war.
talking
Not
about,
at all.
about Russia. Some questions
First of
that
all,
skip- Vladimir
in the year
Putin
2000,
clearly enjoys
2019,
himself.
2000, late 2018, early 2020, I get erased. Like Andrew gets erased in the past. I will not remember that I am a time machine. And
I don't know anything about that.
shit.
You know, there are so many hackers today,
Oh fuck.
and they act so delicately and precisely. They then they can
This
leave
is
their choice
Vladimir
in the necessary
Putin.
time
He
and
just
place,
found out that I
leaving
can
someone
be
else's choice.
erased.
There's always
Shit.
plausible deniability built
Fuck.
into the system. So
Well,
a
that
lot of
was
the hackers that are
that was
working
the super
for the
unlucky.
Russian government,
The documentary
they're
just
not
put Putin
necessarily
in, and I just
wearing,
went, I got
epaulets
erased.
and
I
uniforms.
didn't
They're
pay
not
attention.
necessarily
So
sitting in GRU bunkers in Moscow.
Julia,
somewhere in
whoopsie
Russia.
daisies.
A lot of them are freelancers.
Does it even matter who hacked this data from the campaign headquarters of Mrs. Clinton? Is that really important? The important thing is the content that has been given to the public.
And the Russians were not really denying
Your
it.
campaign
It's a classic
basically
Russian
uses
tactic where it's deniability. There's a veneer of deniability, but at the same time, the Russians are telegraphing with kind of a wink.
somehow, I think it's because of what you did with Gaddafi, Secretary Clinton.
In September,
You are the one who
President
brought a
Barack
coalition
Obama
together
decided to personally
to overthrow
deliver a warning
the
to
Libyan
Vladimir
leader.
Putin.
No. So you will also see. I mean,
The scene was the G20
Chinese
summit
shit.
in Hangzhou, China.
Oh my God, President Obama is September 5th, 2025, documentary day.
So that Mr. Putin understands
Documentary day, and
this,
I accidentally
seriousness
told.
with which Mr. President Obama viewed it, and the need to cease and desist.
It's September
It
5th,
goes for formal
2025.
pictures. Later, Obama pulled Putin aside.
And the pictures from that meeting are pretty extraordinary. President Obama
I see the face,
is
yeah.
looking down on Putin and says,
You're
"You
being
know what
tall."
you're doing, and you need to stop it." I mean, this is the most
He's
direct
going to
warning
succeed.
that one state can deliver to another.
The picture tells 1,000 words. I think President Obama's face really conveys a sense of
Yeah, I
deep
mean,
concern and sending a message to Mr. Putin.
Despite the confrontation, Putin continued to deny Russian involvement.
and there's nothing
Response
you
we
can
have from
do
Russians
because
towards what we always get.
the boyfriend is
We're not
after
doing it.
2020,
Not us.
basically,
I know what you're
after
talking
the
about.
pandemic.
We've never interfered in your
So
system. the way
after
you interfered
President
in our
Trump's
system.
first term,
Just straight
the
up
boyfriend
not
gets
involved.
the Russian
Not us.
boyfriend's
We've never been
after
such-
President Trump's term. The future controls the past, you know. So the Russians successfully insert a spy boyfriend into Alexis's
That fall,
life in
as Hillary Clinton
2020,
prepared for the
and that
final weeks of the
2020 timeline is the
campaign.
reason why
Her staff
Hillary
was
Clinton
becoming
loses in
increasingly
2016,
concerned
and
that
it's
the Russians were involved in more than just hacking.
time war.
We were
So it's
watching
difficult to fight a time war
stories
when
about
you are
Hillary
no
Clinton
longer
appearing
president,
on
right?
Russian propaganda.
So because President Trump no longer
Russia
has the
Today,
incentive to
Sputnik.
prevent that time
Democratic
war from
frontrunner has
happening.
been forced to refute
And,
because of her deteriorating health, maybe.
And then somehow
You're
ending
25,
up in
Hillary.
very similar form in the right wing.
Dehydration. Drink lots of water, Hillary Clinton.
Breitbart, InfoWars.
Oh, no, one second. Oh my gosh, that's I need to go with some water too. It's dehydration, I think, for Hillary Clinton. She didn't drink enough water that day. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm back. I have to get some water.
Attention.
Hi, Brett.
On RT, a cable channel distributed worldwide and controlled by the Kremlin,
Theories about her health.
exaggerated and questionable stories about Clinton's health began to circulate.
You're fine.
Under a microscope,
You're absolutely fine. It's 2025. Your health is perfect. You're fine. You're perfectly fine. You're perfectly fine, Secretary Clinton. September 5th, 2025.
This video, filmed in June, went viral and started a slew of rumors that Clinton may have had a seizure.
Some have said it's like a mini seizure. What does it look like to you?
Post-concussion syndrome. You know your balance.
No, you're fine, Secretary Clinton. You just look kind of ridiculous.
Hybrid warfare.
With the coffee chart.
Is float something that's incorrect or wrong.
You're
And
fine.
then other people will seize on it, and dissemination happens at light speed.
Well, I mean, oh, you're absolutely fine, Secretary Clinton. It's September 5th, 2025. You're absolutely fine. Yes, I know. Yes, people watch.
Similar stories appeared on the Russian-controlled news service Sputnik.
Oh my God.
This is a multi-pronged attack. A lot of times, these kinds of efforts involve things that are only half true, but create doubt and suspicion. That's part of the goal.
Oh, I mean, I can actually say.
On social media, the stories exploded.
It was not true, the idea that Hillary Clinton was sick. But because of the way in which you were experiencing the news and what you were reading, you could spend your whole day being fed information that reinforced this belief that Hillary Clinton was hiding something.
Fueling the social
Possibly
media
hiding the
boom,
time war, but
fake users designed to look like Americans, trolls supporting the Kremlin, an army of automated accounts called bots on Twitter, and targeted advertisements on Facebook and Google.
It involves the use of bots, the use of technology to spread artificial news, what many people call fake
they
news.
did this.
The stories made it into the mainstream media too. And on the campaign trail, Donald
Timeline's not
Trump
changing.
used them to his advantage.
It's September 5th, 2025. September 5th, 2025. I'm briefing Secretary Clinton on the time
We
war.
used to call the fringe, but the fringe became the center of American political life. And some of that fringe involved Russian stories that weren't accurate.
Because what Putin was trying to do was to show that everyone's lying, everyone's cheating. There is no objective truth. And
There's
there is no
Anthony
difference
Blinken,
between
the
what you hear from
Secretary
Western
of
media,
State,
and what you hear in,
President
say, Russia's media.
Biden. He did an okay
That was the
job.
line. He became increasingly successful in blurring it for people
Could have done
reporting
a lot
in the United
better.
States and the West.
Top Democrats are accusing very senior levels of the Russian government of trying
Did Russia do the hacking? Did they do it to influence the American political elections?
As the size and scope of Russian interference intensified,
This is 2016.
the
This is
intelligence
summer
agencies
of
grew
2016.
increasingly
I mean,
concerned.
President Obama, you got good news. You're going to get a second term. Not a big problem. President Obama was going to get a second term.
There was a
President Obama get a second term.
picture that was becoming
This is,
clearer and clearer of interference, attempts to interfere in our democracy.
I don't know how to answer
Intense debates.
without
Secretary
erasing
Johnson
myself.
pushed for going public
Because
with the
if I help you win
evidence
Hillary, I would not exist
and the
anymore.
A number of us felt very strongly that
For the future, I mean, you have to
tell the American public
you have to
what
get
we
me
did,
in the past.
and that it would be unforgivable
That way,
post-election
if
if
that
we
didn't
had not.
happen.
Lee and I were, I think, of like mind here, that if the election, for whatever reason,
I absolutely
was
understand
manner,
why
it
some
were
people
to
are
go
trying to fight
south,
this.
and then afterwards, it was learned that
Because,
we knew about what the Russians were doing. We
yeah,
had some pretty
Alexis-
good insight into what they were doing, and we didn't say anything about it before the election. They would really be held to pay.
Finally, Obama agreed.
Obama still doesn't want this to be in his name, so he enlists his intelligence chief, James Clapper, and his Homeland Security chief, Jay Johnson, to put out a statement in their names, hoping that that will be perceived as less partisan than if the president had done so himself.
But just agreeing on what would be said would be difficult.
The statement that Jim Clapper and Jay Johnson put out went through an arduous review process, including the White House Situation Room, just trying to get the tone right.
You would not be able to get the
right.
message to me
The
in the
vetted
past
statement
because I don't
was
even
just 3
understand.
paragraphs long.
The me in the past one doesn't even
directed
understand
the recent compromises of
what the
email
Russians were
from
trying.
U.S. persons and institutions.
There were a few interesting things about that.
Because in my past,
It
in
gave
Nash's
us no
past,
details.
Andrew's
Second,
superpowers
it
are
was
phasing in and out of
incredibly
reality,
late.
basically.
And it
Whenever
took
Alexis
him
has a
this
serious
community,
boyfriend that
to
separates
more
Alexis
than
from
2
me,
months to be
I
able to
lose
come
my
up with a
superpowers,
few
and this one
sentences
passed.
that essentially
And my
control
knowledge that I was
story.
superhero in the past is
Also
phasing in and
missing
out.
any mention of President Putin's personal involvement.
They
I mean,
could have
in the
taken
future,
them, but they didn't.
Andrew's
They got
superpowers
taken
are
out
super
in the
stable.
final statement
But in the
because
past,
of
my
a concern
superpowers are
over
not
resources
stable.
and methods.
Because
and,
it's still dependent on Alexis.
concern about
The
appearing
superpowers
to
I have,
be
I know do not depend on Alexis, I think. Because Alexis doesn't
say
seem to
they had
be
some evidence
on a
of it
path to
happening.
marry me.
It didn't say
So
they
Alexis
were
is on the
listening
path to marry the
in
Russian spy. I think.
conversations
I'd be
that were
happy with the
taken
Russian spy.
directly with Putin,
The devil.
although they had,
Technically the devil.
It said it had to have been ordered.
I mean, I don't want to bring
At the
religion
White
into
House,
this, but
they held their collective breaths and sent it out to the media.
literally the Russian
I
spy
thought
that
our
Alexis
statement
stated in the future
was
and
Going to be
past
really, really big news.
President Trump's
It was
presidency.
unprecedented that
Way in the future,
U.S.
days of
government
Russian
was
spies.
accusing another
Way in the future.
superpower.
And that is the
Effectively
problem.
Putting their
Because
thumb on the
it's,
scale
you get
of
4 years of
democracy
President Trump being
and attempting
president,
to influence our
and
election.
then the Russian
They planned to
spy
release for
captures
Friday
Alexis
afternoon.
after
From
the
White House's
pandemic.
perspective, they're gonna
And you
drop
don't
this thing
even,
on the
you're
fr- on
talking
the
what
Friday,
pandemic and
and they're going to own
how
news
bad,
coverage over the weekend. This was going to be a
you all
big
have no
story.
idea.
Russians at their highest level.
86 million people dead, give or take, at least, possibly more.
We thought this was a pretty good news story
You
when we
know,
started.
I just heard a
figuring out
congressman
how
and
people
senator
could get
told
up
me,
on the web,
Senator
they
Ron
didn't
Johnson
pay
told me,
and
400 people with long COVID.
Pete, thank you for that. And some breaking news.
400 million people with
Just in
long
the last
COVID.
few
And it's
seconds,
like,
NBC News has just become aware of a video capturing Donald Trump making vulgar comments about women.
And that was, of course, the famous tape of Trump boasting about how he would deal with women when he was such a star and, you know, he could get away with anything.
Breaking late this
Yeah.
evening. A blast
This
from
is
the
the-
past that seems to be exploding in the face of the Republican presidential nominee, Donald
It
Trump.
didn't work.
News of the tape broke at 4 p.m.
Mr. President,
And that
yeah,
pushes
this
aside
tape is part of
every
the
news
presidential
of Vladimir
campaign.
Putin interfering in our election. And that tape becomes the dominant story of the day.
Where's the
The
gorgeous
Access
woman,
Hollywood
brother?
video came out the same day, and the media all were like cattle, and they went off and grazed in the other end of the pasture.
That's the audio recording sending shockwaves across the president.
Biden called Trump's comments disgusting.
Deeply offensive comments Trump made about it.
And it's like an avalanche. I mean, the warning that the Obama administration was desperately trying to convey with that statement ends up at the bottom of that avalanche.
The Trump camp has swiftly launched into...
It looked like Trump's campaign might be over.
That this is the end of the Donald Trump campaign.
No, it isn't.
And then, just minutes after the Trump tape surfaced, another bombshell.
Email suggested in private.
WikiLeaks suddenly began releasing those John Podesta emails that had been captured by Russian hackers months before.
The leaks of
President Trump
Biden,
finally let the guy
they
go
didn't
home.
occur until October, an hour after the Access Hollywood tape became public. So clearly, I think this was done to somewhat the extent
Yeah,
to
you
distract
kind of screwed up
the press to get them off the
Secretary
Access
Clinton's
Hollywood
campaign.
story.
Breaking news here. WikiLeaks is about to release, quote, significant material tied to
The campaign is doing damage control tonight after WikiLeaks released.
I was in a room dealing with WikiLeaks emails when that happened, and I think people forget that for Trump there were some really embarrassing moments, but for us every day, you know, there was more coming out.
Campaign manager Robbie Mook lashed out, writing, quote, wow.
It was just the beginning. Podesta's emails would continue to leak through Election Day.
So the Access Hollywood tape is like this supernova that explodes on that day. The Podesta emails, it's like this fuse that's lit on that day and just slowly
WikiLeaks
burns
keeps-
until it
shit.
blows up as you get closer to the election.
Oh man.
Emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chair.
There's something called WikiLeaks. You know how there's Wikipedia?
Amplifying the Podesta
Some guy
emails
from
once
Australia
again.
is using WikiLeaks and they're releasing
The box,
information on.
RT, and Donald
Well,
Trump
they didn't
himself.
WikiLeak the time machine.
The stuff that's coming out, it shows she's
Hi,
a
President
real
Trump.
liar.
It's,
This WikiLeaks stuff is unbelievable.
Trump.
It tells you the inner heart. You gotta read it. WikiLeaks, I love WikiLeaks.
Everybody was complicit.
I think I was watching this stuff
The
in
Russians were
past.
complicit in it. The Trump campaign was amplifying it. The press all focused on Hillary Clinton, and in a negative way.
You know that one person who maybe don't use the email.
Contentious presidential race.
After all the chaos, the hacks and fake news,
Signal chat will be mentioned. Too late.
in Moscow, they were watching as the results came in.
Yeah, Russian women are
It's
kind of
hard
hot.
to imagine that many people in Moscow
They're really
thought
attractive.
that Donald Trump was going to win.
Yeah, I'm not gonna marry a Russian woman. I'm not.
They read the same things.
Even though Alexis is pro-Russian, but
read and see the same polls and the same.
I think the next wife needs to be absolutely. Holy cow, she's gorgeous.
It was a jubilation. Everybody was
Damn.
so happy because it was such a big surprise.
I don't even know gorgeous.
Everybody
Yes, they
believed
did.
that there is a special
The Russians are successful in controlling time.
To get Clinton.
Unfortunately, only one time machine, and the time machine is still American.
Some Russian
The
legislators
American time
collectively
machine
raised
is still
champagne
fully functional.
They didn't expect Trump to win. They just
American
thought
time
they were
machine is still
ready for
American.
his
It's still American.
They didn't expect to break her neck.
Yeah.
Trump's election was seen as a sign of strength for Putin.
Demonstrate to ordinary Russians Putin is deciding the fate of American elections. His statement
They
is
are.
a sign of Putin's greatness and of Russia's
Twice.
greatness as well.
Twice. I mean, because you lose control of the wife, you know, to the Russian spy in the future, and it causes all this.
Donald John Trump,
On January 20th,
I will faithfully execute
the candidate Putin had supported became the President of the United States.
and defend the Constitution.
Well, okay. We need to have a little talk.
I don't know who in America believed that Putin elected Trump.
Well, Putin did.
But Putin believed that. Putin
Yeah,
believed
that's the problem.
Trump rode to victory, promising to make America great again. But the story of Russian interference
That's according to the
continued.
documentary, but
Russian cloud was
but
Trump on
it's
day
not.
one,
It's not like
the inauguration.
President Trump asked for this, you know. President Trump just
Probably
got
with
the
him
benefit
even
of it,
until
but
the end of his presidency.
and in the future, President Trump's going to be the one who has to fight Russia, possibly in a war.
His presidency
And,
was increasingly consumed by questions about possible collusion between his campaign
That's the
and
thing.
Russia.
Interesting question, right? If you have been president,
Eats away at Trump.
good question. I
Watches
mean,
TV,
President
he
Obama.
sees
I
it in
mean,
the paper,
you
he
didn't want to
talk
go
about
to
it
nuclear
and
war.
just nods at it.
Moscow Bank that acts
So I mean, it shouldn't go nuclear. There is no nuclear weapons yet, but I'm thinking. I mean, of all the people that will actually have the bravery to actually engage
is now
Russia,
at the center of a major American
I mean, bomb the
political
shit out of the Russians without.
Putin has strutted back
When
onto the
Hillary
stage,
Clinton
you know,
had the balls
shoulders
to bomb
back,
Russia,
saying Russia's here. But he's
would
also
President
created
Obama
a
actually have the
paper
balls to
backlash.
bomb Russia?
And I don't think
Not,
we know yet.
maybe not
what
Russian
actually
proper,
believes.
Russian soldiers. And I don't
The
know.
conflict
We'll see.
between Putin's Russia and America
Because President Trump
only seems to deepen.
doesn't want World War III. World War III is nuclear, and it would be absolutely terrible for everybody.
Mr. Putin sees
So
these
President
things
Trump
in
is still
Joseph
trying,
fashion.
but
If
you
the
know what
US
President Trump doesn't
presidents
like?
or US
President
has
Trump
diminished
doesn't
in the
like
eyes of the
President
world,
Putin
it just
making
benefits
him
Russia.
look like a puppet.
To me, I think Mr. Putin sees this.
President
as
Trump
a
does not like it
success.
when President Putin makes President Trump look like a puppet or look weak. And that is not cool.
A spy.
So President Trump is going to, you know,
Vladimir Putin
going to show President
for
Putin who's boss.
revenge
I'm going to
has
help
cast a
President Trump.
shadow over American democracy.
I mean, America's in charge, not Russia.
Well, he's going to be pretty happy. He personally and the Russians
America is in
collectively
charge.
is
You know,
way exceeded.
recently, the Russians just took out of a
So
battle
just,
cruiser out of their mothballs.
Discontent.
They retrofitted with 172 nuclear launch nuclear tubes. It holds have a mega. It holds
By the way, the Russians aren't going to stop. Their experience in
Russian flagship.
the 2016 election is going to embolden them to interfere in the future.
What did they say? The
Maybe more
megaton battleship. That's same. Either way, I sank the Russian out of mothball. Kirov Class, Admiral Nakanoa. Never mind. The documentary's over, so let me see if this, just in case. Hold on.